Strength in weakness, the power of His grace text. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9. Have you ever faced a season where you prayed, and yet the answer didn't come the way you expected? You fasted, you cried, you begged God to move the mountain, but the mountain didn't move. Instead, God whispered back, "My grace is sufficient for you." Paul knew that pain. He called it a thorn in his flesh. We don't know exactly what it was: illness, opposition, temptation. But it was heavy enough that the great apostle Paul cried 3 times for God to take it away. And God's answer wasn't removal, it was grace. Tonight, I want to walk you into that sacred place where pain meets power, where weakness meets the Almighty, where your thorn becomes the stage for God's glory. When weakness overwhelms Paul's humanity, great apostle, yet vulnerable and dependent. Drive the truth. Weakness is not disqualification, it's an invitation for God's strength. Lord, open my eyes to see your strength in my weakness. Let tonight's word rest in my spirit. Grace is greater, not just unmerited favor, but divine enablement, supernatural sufficiency. Moses at the Red Sea, weak people, but grace parted waters. Gideon's 300 against thousands, grace gave victory. Jesus in Gethsemane, anguish met with angelic strength. A believer who lost everything but found God's strength to rise again. You don't need everything to change. You need God's grace to carry you through it. Father, let your grace overshadow my insufficiency. I surrender to your sufficiency tonight. The power of His resting. Explore Paul's words, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Lead people to place their weaknesses before God: health, finances, family, inner battles. Turning weakness into testimony. That transparency about our struggles allows Christ's strength to shine. Cracked clay jars that let the light shine through. Stop hiding your thorn, boast in it, because it reveals the grace of God. What thorn has God allowed in your life, not to break you but to showcase His glory? Lord, turn my pain into testimony, my weakness into worship, my story into strength for others. Living in grace daily. Start each day declaring His sufficiency. Lean into prayer not only for deliverance but for endurance. As opportunities for grace. Encourage with Psalm 46 verse 1. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Weakness is the doorway to experiencing His supernatural strength. I declare God's sufficiency over every life listening. Bring it back full circle. Paul asked 3 times for the thorn to be removed. God said, "No, but I'll give you something better than relief. I'll give you myself." Tonight, that same grace is reaching you. Lord, for everyone under the sound of my voice, let your grace be tangible. Where there is sickness, let grace bring healing. Where there is confusion, let grace bring peace. Where there is weakness, let your strength be perfected. We boast in our weakness tonight, because Christ rests upon us. In Jesus' mighty name, Amen. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment so you won't miss more devotionals like this. And also comment what verse encourages you today. And share your story below. Which Bible verse helps you in tough times?